Ladies and gentlemen, we're saving an interesting one for last. Website called Facebook. In our final session of the day, Carolyn Everson, Vice President Global Marketing Solutions of Facebook, shares stories about the ways in which businesses are being creatively transformed through the social network. Please welcome her to the stage.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank all of you for choosing to be here on a beautiful day in the afternoon, which I'm sure is the end of a very long day of meetings and seminars. So really, on behalf of my entire Facebook team, thank you very much for coming and spending the next 30 to 45 minutes with us. For me, I couldn't be more happy than to be in Cannes and have this conversation that we're about to have about how Facebook is working with the creative community. I have spent my entire career working on amazing brands, and all with the creative community, from Disney to 17, Modern Bride, all of the Viacom brands, MTV, Comedy Central, and the importance of creativity in our environment and what you can do on our platform, we think is unprecedented. So one of the things that I'm hoping you leave this presentation after today is, if you're not sure what to do with the Facebook platform and how it really can inspire you, I hope we get a little bit of the way there today, but I would encourage you all to lean in and think about this as a truly revolutionary way to communicate and actually have a conversation with your consumers. We talk about social being creative, and a lot of people ask me, well, what does that exactly mean? And you hear so many definitions from marketers. People will say, what's my social strategy? Or here is a segment of social media. We actually think social needs to be baked in from the very core of every single thing you do. It can be baked in with TV, print, any medium can be social. And we think that's what's going to win in the market. So let's jump in. If you think about what the web was like prior to Facebook 7 years ago, we were anonymous on the web. And it was an okay experience, but frankly, it was sort of disappointing. My screen name was CNE Pluto. My initials, CNE. Pluto was my first dog. This is how people knew me online. You really couldn't find me online 8 years ago because I was anonymous. People were afraid to put their real identity. And then something transformative happened. When Mark Zuckerberg put the thought together and said, what happens when we actually allow real people to become real people online? What is the power of that? Now we don't imagine not putting information about ourselves. We do banking, we do education online, we communicate with our family and friends. And it's actually not just about our family and friends, which is what's so interesting. We define ourselves very broadly. The brands we love, the places we go to eat, the vacations we like to take, these are all part of who we are. And for the first time ever, we have real people's identity online. And that's a significant difference with what Facebook is doing. So what do we have so far? We've been called the social network. There was a movie called The Social Network. Really, that's not what we are. We don't think of ourselves that way at all. We think of ourselves as building the social graph, the underpinning of allowing the world's population to be open and connected, to communicate, share, inspire each other, motivate, comment. We're well over 500 million. Our numbers have been reported globally. We're growing in every single market. And we will not be satisfied until we connect the entire world. Some other interesting stats, just to give you some perspective of how we're growing. Every single day, 15 million people become friends. That stat continues to grow as more and more people get on the platform and grow globally. We also have something else happening. They're not just becoming friends and communicating with family. Our audience is actually liking pages. And what are those pages? They're everything from brand pages to cause-related pages to pages about their community or club or sport that they're part of. 50 million are happening every single day. The growth in some of the countries that we've reported has been astonishing. In Germany, we're now at 25% of the population. In Spain, 1 in every 3 people are on Facebook, and the stats continue country by country. It is quite extraordinary. And what is happening is not only are people coming on and getting onto the social graph, but they're actually starting to look to their friends for recommendations. And that is actually how you and I would interact in the offline world. So if I were to meet you after the presentation, I might say, hi, my name is Carolyn. Where are you from? Where do you work? And eventually, I would start to get to know you and start to understand your interests. And eventually, we probably will find some things in common. That's how you and I would communicate every day in the offline environment. That's what's happening on Facebook. And people are starting to reach out and ask for recommendations. When I first got to Facebook just 3 months ago, one of my colleagues, Dan Rose, posed this question, and it was, what is your favorite Cabernet Sauvignon? His page, his news feed was filled with suggestions. Who would have thought that all of these people would have taken time to give Dan a recommendation on a bottle of wine? This is happening for brands, for where people want to eat, where they want to go, from a destination standpoint. Basic decisions are happening every single day. As a matter of fact, 75% of new parents on Facebook would rather get their recommendation from their friends on Facebook about new products when they become a new mom and dad than anywhere else. 83% of shoppers really are interested in sharing information. When you have a great experience, you often want to talk about it and share. And 74% of people making a purchasing decision are influenced by their friends. This is not only happening in the PC environment, but it's happening very real time in the mobile environment as consumers are shopping and in store when they can get recommendations from their friends real time. This is the biggest opportunity for marketers and the folks in this room to both foster and distribute creativity. How do you spark a conversation that are going to get people talking? Hopefully it's going to click. Oh, if you look at the iconic ads that have been done over the years, I have had many creative community folks say to me, but Carolyn, it's just a small display ad unit on Facebook. What can I do creatively? Especially when you look at some of the wonderful campaigns that are flashing behind me or the wonderful TV creative that you all have done for decades. The truth is, this is an opportunity we have never had before. You have an opportunity to be creative, to spark a conversation that takes place across all of your marketing, not just what you do on TV, but woven into what you do on Facebook. Creativity is more important now in this medium than it has ever been before. I would like each of you to think about this. Think about how you approach creativity, the way we market products, the way we create meaningful experiences for people. The truth is, Facebook is one of the most incredible platforms for creativity out there. I don't want you to think about it as just the display ad. One of my colleagues, Mark Darcy, who we just brought on to work with the creative community, has a great analogy. So the display ad on the right-hand side, for many, is like a ticket to a rock concert. Sure, tickets can look a little bit different. It's the magic of the show that happens when you walk into that stadium. That's how you have to think about creativity on Facebook. What can you do to spark a conversation? We think there are endless possibilities. We like to call this phrase social by design. So if you were going to leave with 3 words today, these would be some of those words that I would leave you with. What exactly is social by design? Many of us in marketing have grown up learning about the ability to communicate one to many and have really all different screens around us doing that. The opportunity with social by design is something we've all wanted from the very beginning, which is to put the consumer in the center. Irregardless of the screen, irregardless of the opportunity to reach them, the consumer is the most important thing for a marketer. It's what drives the business. We need to know what they're passionate about. We need to understand things that they like and that they're interested in. And putting people in the center of every single thing you do is the most important thing I think you should take away from today. Let me give you a real example of a company and an industry that's completely transformed given social by design. Look at the gaming industry. All of these amazing companies. There was a little company called Zynga that wasn't around 5 years ago. They now have 215 million people playing their games every month. That is more people than have bought the Xbox, Sony PlayStation 3, and the Wii combined. No one would have thought that was possible, but they believed in something very much at the core of Social by Design. If you look at what their creative was, on the left-hand side, hopefully on your left, very fancy game creative, Halo 3, fantastic game, blockbuster title. Game publishers spend millions of dollars. They're like movie launches in the industry. On the right-hand side is Zynga's Cityville. 100 million people in 43 days decided to play this game. Why? Because of one thing. It was built around people. It was built around people and having the ability to share with each other. And that has completely transformed the business. Next. Bear with me, this clicker is not working, so I'm trying to keep it going. Here you go. Here's Chris Cox talking a little bit about our photo product.
There were 20 great photos products around in 2005 that had millions of dollars in cash, that had hundreds of features. And here we came along with a handful of people in a month and a half and built a product that boiled down and removed all of those features, except for one thing, which was tagging it, so that we organized the photos on the web around people and it completely changed the experience. That was just like that.
What's fascinating about what we did on the photo product is, by all accounts, our photo product should have failed. It didn't have any of the fancy features that the photo companies have when it was built 4 years ago. But because it was social by design, it allowed people to tag and share. The product has exploded. We're now the #1 photo sharing site on the web. How did we come up with that insight? We watched what people were doing on Facebook. They were changing their profile picture literally every day, some of the people. And we said, people want to share photos. It's part of the process of being able to share and communicate with your friends. But it was completely revolutionizing the way photo sharing is done on the web around people. These stats are quite extraordinary. Over 100 million are uploaded a day, and 100 million people are photo tagging per day. And this continues to grow and grow. We're seeing the exact same thing with video. Again, what we do is we watch what our users are doing, what they're passionate about, and then we build products really quickly to address that. At the end of the day, when you think about this and you say, okay, you've got gaming, you've got photo, your mind in the room is probably starting to think, well, what other industries could be transformed? We actually think almost every industry can be transformed when you put people at the center. Inherently, we are all social human beings. It's how we live our lives. And frankly, this is nothing new. We have a great anthropologist on our team, and he talks about literally studying human beings from the literally first creation in caves and how people communicated. And not much has changed, but for the first time, we have a technology platform that enables all of us to connect globally in a way that we've always wanted to do. We just never had the opportunity to do it. So this shouldn't really be surprising what's happening. People live in networks. If you look at this slide around the networks, I have my sort of in the center, that's myself and my family. And then I have different groups of people that I interact with. We build relationships. They may be from early days in college, they may be work, they may be family, they may be games that we participate in. And it's a very natural way that you live your life. As a matter of fact, in the offline world, one of the only 2 times people get together with all of their networks is at their wedding, and God forbid, their funeral, when people come together from all different parts of their lives. But in general, this is exactly how we live ourselves in the offline world. The most popular Facebook group names: family, best friends, roommates, high school, and then clubs of interest. This is what's growing on Facebook every single day. People are not only accumulating friends, but then they're starting to really think about, how do I communicate with specific groups of people and how do I share with them? And that's becoming increasingly popular.